Welcome to the Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.
Here we go, and we're live. So welcome to this week's edition of A Coffee with Karen. And this is where basically we showcase lots of different coaches, consultants, therapists or healers who have, is that, there's background noise. Why am I getting background noise? Do you have headphones?
I do, but not headphones.
No, there's too much interference. What's going on? We don't normally have that. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm getting lots of clicky sort of your end.
It's on my end?
Yeah.
Any suggestions?
It's the audio. No, hang on. No. That is strange. Why are we getting background noise? Yeah, I'm getting some strange audio. Yes. Where is that coming from? Yeah, the audio isn't great.
I'm trying to see what I can find.
Have a click on settings.
I did.
And then an audio.
I'm there.
I don't know. What's that? I don't know why. Oh, no, that's...
Oh, how about that? Is that better?
No, I'm still getting from... That is really bizarre.
Do you want me to go out and come back in?
Yeah, try that. Yeah. Come
Okay.
out, come back in.
Okay.
But we're... Oh, God. No, that's not going to work because we're live. Shit. No, it is not my end. Oh, give up.
Now. Any better?
Yes, it is. What's changed? Yes, that is. Okay. I won't end the broadcast off. It's going to be another. Let's try again. Okay. Okay, I will just edit that. Right, okay.
Welcome to the Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.
Here we go, and we're live. So welcome to this week's Coffee with Karen. Cup of positivity with just a sprinkling of woo-woo, where I interview a variety of different types of coaches and therapists, from the conventional to the more woo-woo, to share with you a little bit about what they do, share a bit of their story. So, SASSI Coach. So Christine, could you share with the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do, please?
Absolutely. Good morning, Karen. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. So SASSI is an acronym for strong, assertive, smart, sexy, and independent. And I believe that every woman has that essence deep within them. And as victims of abuse, that tends to get squashed and almost extinguished. So I help women find that again, bring it out, and come to their true sassy.
Love that. And that it does seem to be quite a common theme, because it just feels like that many women that have been through different types of sort of trauma, they just get muted in a way. They don't have the confidence to step out and step into their truth and be heard, right?
Exactly. And that's why I call myself a confidence coach, because I help build that up again. But it's not just confidence, it's every single one of those letters: to be strong, and not just, physically strong, assertive, to be able to set those boundaries and stand by those boundaries. And of course, smart, sexy, and independent.
Fantastic. So can you share a little bit of your story? How did you come to be doing what you do?
That's a long story, and I know we don't have a whole bunch of time.
We've got an hour. Share your story.
I had my moment back in 2018. I had gone through the abuse almost 7 years, finally got the courage to say enough is enough, get out of my house. Ended up in the hospital at the last stages of abuse in 2016 to 2017, 4 surgeries, 15 procedures. The abuse led to alcoholism. I am a recovering addict. I love it. Just over 6 years now. But after all that, I had a moment where, and I got addicted to pain pills in the process of coming out of the hospital, all those times and all those surgeries, kicked that. And I was laying in bed one night in so much pain, just every cell of my body hurt. It was just excruciating pain. And I tease and say I'm a retired Catholic. I've heard people say that they're a recovering Catholic. So at that point, I no longer believed in God. But I was laying in bed, and the pain was excruciating. And I did what every human would do. I looked up and I said, "Dear God, please take this pain away. Take the pain away." And then, of course, you start the bargaining process. I'll do anything, just take the pain away. And as I started to try to go to sleep, and I couldn't toss it, couldn't turn out. When I said the pain was excruciating, I've given birth to 3 children. I went through all those surgeries. I had a C-section with my first. I can tolerate pain through the abuse, okay? But I started to, I believe, drift into a meditative state. And I saw a very small, maybe golf ball size, bright light that came through my bedroom wall. And as it got closer, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the light, Karen, the light was pure love, and you could feel it. And as it got closer and it enveloped the whole room, it enveloped me. I felt so much love at that moment, and joy and peace. And of course, all the pain immediately went away. I thought it was God. I found out after the fact that it was Archangel Michael, and it was actually his wings wrapped around my body. And he lifted me off the bed. And I just wanted it to last forever. It was such a wonderful feeling. And he hugged me and held me, and I felt the love and the light, and it was glorious. And he whispered in my ear, "Everything will be okay." And this was back in 2018. Of course, I got up the next morning. Did I dream that? Was it real? And of course, my dog is laying on the floor going, he's kind of got that look like, "Did you see what I saw, Mom?" Yeah, that was real, Mom. So I had gone through a few more things. COVID hit, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Finally filed for divorce. That was nasty. The divorce was finalized in May of 2020. July of 2021, I moved from Florida to Tennessee, where I'm at now. And through trying to find myself and heal myself and finding coaches that I could talk to about everything that happened in my life, not just the abuse and the trauma with the ex-husband, but everything, all the childhood traumas that I had gone through. And through my journey, I discovered coaching. And I actually had a couple of business clients, because I was doing business consulting back then. I had a couple clients that kept telling me, you need to coach. And I'm like, well, isn't that what I'm doing? And they're like, yeah. So I got into the coaching program, and we broke out into a group to try and test our skills, play with them a little bit. And I told my story. And one woman said, you need to get your story out. That will be part of your healing process. And through that, I embraced my path that was chosen, and my angels and my gods and my guides have been with me ever since. They guide me every step of the way. This morning, as a matter of fact, I was sitting on my front porch, kind of meditating, saying my prayers, and a hawk landed on a car not far from me and just kind of looked. It's like, that's my sign. That's Archangel Michael talking to me saying, everything's going to be okay, Christine. And
there you go. And it just seems to be such a common thread that it's a natural process, I suppose, when people are going through their own healing process, that then they get to a stage where they would naturally want to be able to help others that maybe are going through a similar story, which is why it's so important to get your story out and share your experience, so that others that may be feeling alone, that may be feeling like it's only happening to them. And of course it isn't. And that gives them a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, that there is, you can heal and you can move forward. Right.
Yes. And that's what, I'm not an expert. I'm not, by any means licensed. I'm not, a big guru on this, other than I've lived it. I know what we go through. There's one of those things in the coaching field that says you need to be the 5th grader to the 4th grader. I'm just the 5th grader. I'm just one step ahead. But my biggest mission is, and this has been told, from my angels and my guides, that I have to bring the light to this subject. We have to talk about it, because as victims of abuse, we go through so much guilt and shame and self-loathing and hate, and we blame ourselves, and we are not at fault for this. We did not do it. And that's, I try and change the vernacular of, we are not abused women. We are women of abuse, because we have more power than we realize. If you say you're a woman of abuse, you take back your power, you take back your sassy, you take back your ownership that this happened to me, not because of me.
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny that the words that we use, and, we see this so often, because people, like you say, if they're almost taking ownership of that situation by saying that they are abused, as though it can't be changed, it can't be moved on from, rather than that's just a part of the transition. They're not there, they don't stay there forever. But do you find that a lot of people, it is down to the words that they use, that sort of self-talk, and how they're saying it is just reaffirming it to their subconscious. And then we all know that, unfortunately, that's the energy that we put out. None of us do it. None of us do it deliberately. None of us do it consciously. But this is an unconscious thing due to the words that they are currently using, right?
Exactly. And like I said, I'm not perfect. I find myself still in those. Now the abuse ended up, even with the court system in 2020, and we're in 2022, almost 2023. I still find myself correcting myself and healing myself, and still on this journey. And I tell my clients, this is not an easy journey, but it's going to be worth it. When you get to that point and you get higher and you get better and you love yourself more, and you can be okay in your body and realize that none of this was your fault. and go on that journey and that healing, it is so worth it. And yes, you know, we need to change the vernacular. We need to understand where it comes from, more so from the male side that gave it that name, which is why I want to change that. We are not abused women. That makes us sound weak and small. And Lord knows, I mean, look around at social media and the podcasts and everything. Women are starting to come into their power more and more every single day. And that's what I do. I try and help that.
Absolutely. And that is encouraging for everybody, because I mean, it's, you know, for some, we naturally want to avoid pain. So yeah, some people may not want to actually face it because of the memories. They don't want to have to relive things, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. But yeah, I suppose rather than people focusing on where their lives can go to, they want to avoid actually dealing with that, because it's going to naturally bring up some negative feelings, right?
Right. And you know as well as I do that the only way to move forward is not to live in the past, but recognize it, deal with it. That's over and done with. And that's kind of where my philosophy goes, that I don't live in the past. That Christine from 2012 to 2018 no longer exists. She's molded into this. I would never talk about this. Okay. My children didn't even know this was happening, but here I am, you know, in 2022, and I'm going, hey, here I am. This is what happened. That SOB did this to me. That SOB did that. But you know what? I came out better for it. I'm a better person today than I was yesterday, a year ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And that's where I try and help. And we need to let go of that comfort. And there is some comfort in that pain, as much as we don't address it fully. There is a little bit of comfort that it's something we know, but that's okay. Let's let it go. Let's move on, because there's so many more bigger, better things that we can do out there.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that is it. It's a strange concept that people stay in that because it is comfortable. But again, it's not a conscious, nobody would willingly put themselves through it. But this is just sort of to reiterate, this is all an unconscious thing. None of us do that, but it is strange that is how our minds work, and that our unconscious mind, even if it was a negative experience, because it knows that, and it doesn't like the unknown, which is, I suppose it was necessary in certain times to keep us safe. But, you know, in things like that, it's obviously not serving us to be held there. And yet, yeah, I love what you just said about it's the case of accepting. You can't change what went on in the past. You know, it is what it is. People think that's such a harsh statement. I actually love that statement, because it's not saying we had to like it. No one likes that. But that acceptance of it happened, you know, we can't change that. It's done. So the acceptance of the, you know, the isness of what is, so that you can then move forward. And although it sort of seems sort of a contradiction, it's massive for people to actually step out and move forward.
Yes. And just to kind of get my 2 cents, what I say is what it is. It was what it was, and it's going to be what it's going to be. You know, as I said, you know, we learn from it. You know, that was one of the things that we were taught as children, especially you fell off your bike. Okay, well, learn to, you know, keep the pedals going. You learn from those past experiences. So let's learn. So what happened in those relationships, or that one relationship that was abusive, and it doesn't necessarily have to be physical abuse, but what happened? What could you have done different? What could you have said different? We can't change him. We cannot change. We cannot change what happened to him and what caused him to be abusive. Okay, let's work on you. So what happened? Yes, bring that. you know, we can't have the dark without the light. We can't have the light without the dark. So we have to bring those two together and say, okay, I see you, I feel you, I know you. It sits here in my body. How do I address it? How do I take that veil off of it? And how do I move forward from it?
Yeah, sure. And I think that is the message for everybody, if they are sort of either going through it right now or have gone through it and they know that they need to move on, is that, you know, you don't have to stay where you're at. There is hope. There is, you know, but it's very difficult to do it by yourself. And so some women may feel that they are alone.
Yes.
And I suppose, yeah, this message then is that you're not. So get in touch with Christine, because you know, and I think people will go towards people. If you've never experienced it, then you know that you're not going to resonate with that person. So to have that, because obviously it's a very touchy subject, right? It's very personal. However, if you can connect with somebody who will have that natural understanding because they have been through it, then it's a bit more of a sort of safe space, would you say?
Yes. And I tell people out there and women that if not me, find someone, okay? If you're in this situation, because we have blinders on when we're going through it. It's like we're in that horse race. It's like a horse race. The blinders are on and all you want to do is get to the finish line. But where's that finish line? It keeps moving and it keeps going. So we don't see. I know, honey, I know. But we can't see past the blinders, and we can't see the bigger picture, that there are people out there. We're living in the moment. Quite frankly, Karen, we're trying to survive day by day. Okay, we're just trying to get through today, walking on the eggshells, wondering what kind of mood is he going to be in when he comes home tonight? What am I going to say that's going to set him off? Those eggshells are there. Those triggers are there. And we can't see. But if you get that moment and can, a friend, a parent, a sibling, go to a church, walk in and talk to a preacher, a priest, a nun, whatever you can find in that church, and sit down and say, I just need somebody to talk to. You know, worst case scenario, walk into a police station. If you're that unsafe, go to the police station, go to a fire department. You know, and start getting things, make a plan. That's the other thing. If you're stuck in that situation, and believe me, I understand that. But if you're stuck, at least start making a plan. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to, you know, follow through every step of the way. Start setting some money aside. All your documents, an overnight bag. Don't keep it in your vehicle. Don't keep it in the house. If you keep it with a friend, ask that friend, listen, just keep this for me, you know, a prepaid cell phone, whatever bare minimum, because your life is more important than any material things. Okay. The statistic in the United States is that 1 in 7 women will not make it out alive. 1 in 7.
That's frightening. I mean, I don't know what the stats are in the UK. I would hope that they're not that high, but I actually have no clue.
The UK is worse. The UK is worse. The UK is every 6 minutes, a woman in the UK experiences some form of abuse. Every 6 minutes.
That's outrageous.
Yes.
So that needs to stop.
Yes. Yes. That's why I do this, because we need to bring it to light. We need to bring this subject, you know, forefront and be one of those things that we say, enough is enough. We have the brain and the technology and the smarts to be able to say, okay, you know, again, we can't fix him until he's ready to be fixed, but work on yourself. Get yourself out of that situation, because 1 out of 7 times says it's not going to end right.
That's absolutely, that's disgusting, absolutely disgusting statistics. And I suppose, what do you think that, I mean, that just goes to show that surely all these people must be feeling that it's only happening to them. Yes. But there you go. The stats show that no, it's happening all around. But that's brilliant advice, because it must be a very scary place. I mean, I feel very fortunate that I haven't suffered that, because you must think, well, yeah, you can't just suddenly then up and go, because that's going to anger it's such a complex issue. So to have an escape plan,
yes,
sounds like incredible advice, because it does sound like you need to get your ducks in a row before they catch on, because
yes,
that's where the danger is. If they really understand that actually you are going to leave, and you have the friends, the support, that could trigger an angry response.
yes.
So
Yes.
wow.
There's 3 words that are very powerful in the human language, in the English language. Unfortunately, we don't use them enough. And that is, I need help.
Ugh.
And that is so hard to say. But find the courage, find the strength to say, I need help. Find somebody that you can talk to, find somebody that you can resonate with, and I see all the Facebook groups out there, and there are some online groups. Stop living in the moment is the best advice. Find that plan, find that escape route, find that friend, and I know I'm there's a double-edged sword here, because it's not that easy. I married this man in 2012. Okay. Didn't divorce until 2020. I went through the 6.5 years of abuse. I had a gunshot wound to the head in 2015. Okay. I've attempted suicide several times throughout this abusive relationship.
Wow.
It is not easy. It's not, but the more we delay it, the harder it does get. The more time that goes on, the harder it gets. You have to get to a point, and it's not easy. Everybody it's like an alcoholic or a drug addict. You have to hit rock bottom until you say, okay, I'm done. Yes. I can't do this anymore. But find the courage, find that sassy. It's in there. It's burning. It's smoldering. Find it and just take that first step. Martin Luther King Jr. said that, didn't he? That stairway may be, it's a spiral stairway, and we can't see the top of it, but take that first step.
And I suppose that's what it is. It's maybe that, again, I suppose the longer you're in any situation that isn't good, the longer you're just running a program to, like you said earlier, about you're just trying to survive the day.
Yes.
So you're running this background programming just to get you through. So maybe they can't see. And then I suppose the enormity of the task ahead to actually get out. And if they don't have funds themselves, and they're more ready, there's so many moving parts. I suppose everyone's in a different situation, and some may just feel so helpless that they can't, because of not just funding, but other things, if they haven't got family or so. I mean, there's just, the whole thing seems terrible to me.
I know.
But yes, that the thing that it's that next step, just the next step, baby steps.
Yes.
Planning. Nobody needs to know anything other than the person that you trust. And then get help, because there is help out there, right?
Yes. There's government groups to help. There's safe houses. Now I've heard the war stories with safe houses, but they're getting better. I mean, you have to trust somebody, and trust is so hard when you've been in that type of relationship, to try and to trust anybody, because the only person you have had for so long, even if it's, a dating situation and you're already 3 or 6 months in, and the abuse isn't physical right away. It never starts out physical. It's always verbal or mental, possibly even sexual abuse. Okay. But if your gut and your intuition is telling you there's something wrong, that this just doesn't feel right, as women, we have that gift. Use it. you know?
Yeah, but we don't. It just seems so common, isn't it? We've been conditioned somehow. And look, you know, we're in completely different countries, but I'm going to go and hazard a guess that we've all been through a similar upbringing through the systems, and somehow we have found ourselves where we don't trust our intuition. And that's what we've got. That's the power that we have, is to absolutely trust your intuition, because your intuition is never wrong.
No, the brain will lie to us, the ego will lie to us, but the body does not lie about anything. It is that is your center system. That is your beacon. You know, your body, listen to it. It will tell you. It will come out in ways that I never expected. Okay. I mean, you know, just everything from the sweats, that queasy, that twinge, that you're kind of giving it a second half thought, you know, that's your intuition talking. Listen to it.
And it's a shame that we have, you know, I call it that. I said that we're so conditioned to using our mind, which is the ego. And like you say, that lie to you. That's giving you false evidence, right? It's when we actually are quiet and not overthinking things, which is difficult to do, as I would presume, if you're in that kind of situation, because you are a little bit on alert, waiting. But actually, in those moments of calm, if you can get calm or find a way to get calm, and listen to that little inner voice, because that knows more than we think we do.
Yes.
So tell us about your program. Tell us about, there is hope out there for anybody going through it. So what is it that how do you help people through
There's the signature program that I have. It is an 8-week program. It's called the 7 Steps to SASSI. And the first step is to basically surrender and say, this is me. This is where I'm at. And of course, we go through some other steps. We have, you know, discussions on a weekly basis. And the last step that is so important is you have to spread that message. Okay. Be me. Okay. I can't get the word out to the whole world. I'm trying. I am trying my hardest. Okay. But if you know somebody that is going through it and you've gone through the 7 steps of SASSI, help her. You know, pay it forward, you know, help that next person, be that little beacon of light till yours gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. Again, even mine's not as bright as it should be. I'm trying to get it out there, but so yeah, we do that. I can do one-on-one coaching, the group coaching. I do what I call laser coaching. Karen, I have taken text messages and DMs from my Facebook page, you know, at all hours of the night. I will never turn down anybody, whether they can pay or not right away. That's fine. But you know, if somebody needs to talk, I'm here. I'm an ear. And that's what we need sometimes as women of abuse. We just need somebody to talk to, just somebody to listen, somebody that understands.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean that's really it, because I don't know the stats. I wonder whether you do, but I'm sure that, you know, maybe not so bad in the last sort of year, but you know, let's go back to lockdown. I mean, that must have been an incredibly frightening place for people going through that, because they would have been stuck with them 24 hours a day. I mean, I can't even imagine, for those that maybe got a bit of an escape while they went to work, to find themselves in that position. And have you noticed a real big change sort of in those, you know, the previous year, you know, going into the lockdown?
Yeah, the statistic is, before the lockdown, was 1 in 4 women in the U.S. will experience some form of abuse. It did go up a little high. Well, come down, however you want to look at the statistic. It did increase during that. It is now, they're still, you know, pulling the statistics, but it's back to that 1 in 4. You know, and everything plays a part. Yes, everything plays a part in that. You know, the stress that we're all going through, of those little things that we don't realize food prices, gas prices, your job, you know, every little thing that could possibly add stress to a relationship is fuel to his fire. Okay. And I am not bashing men. Please don't misunderstand, because men experience abuse almost as much as women. Their statistic here in the States is 1 in 7. 1 in 7 men will experience abuse from a woman. And when we're talking a difference in height, weight, strength, everything. Okay. And yes, it is physical, can be physical with a woman, but a lot of it is that verbal, and it can escalate from verbal to physical very quickly in a relationship, where the opposite, if it's a woman experiencing abuse from a man, going from mental, verbal, you know, spiritual, psychological, sexual abuse, then it goes to physical abuse, the you know, the black eyes, the bruises, the broken bones. Yeah, so men, I
suppose for men, it's almost can be even more of a struggle, because they are meant to be the ones that, you know, don't get that. So it might be more difficult for them to actually step out and ask for help because of the shame that they may feel, or the, you know, and all those feelings are just so much more damaging.
Yeah, and it's all before that, because they think, oh, she's so cute. Look at this tiny 5'1" girl, thinking she can, you know, I mean, they don't realize that it's abuse. Okay.
Right.
And the other part of my mission is, not only do we need to fix now and stop the abuse now, but we need to teach our children and our children's children. We have to break this cycle. We need to say to our kids, boys and girls, that this is unacceptable. Any form of abuse is unacceptable. Yes, we have to learn as women. There's a fine line. And as women, we have to be able to say, this is my boundary. This is what I expect. This is what I want. Do not cross this line. If you cross this line, these are the consequences. In our English language, I mean, we don't normally talk to people like that. I mean, we don't ever, you know, oh, hi, how are you? By the way, here's my boundary. Don't cross it. Now, I do that, but I'm not.
We can give them a list. There you go. There you go.
Right. But to teach our children is the next phase of what I'm trying to get out there.
Well, it's got to be. So where do you think it's going wrong? Where is the? Do we know what's happening? How do people get into this position? Both the men and the women, both as the abuser, but also the person that's putting up with it. But I suppose, as you said, it's a slow. It can be a. It's not going to be right from the off, right? Otherwise, we'd never have married them. It's going to be a drip feed, and.
I honestly, Karen, I don't know. You know, there are countries out there that actually, when boys are born, there are fathers out there that teach through their actions, and not realizing, I mean, that it's accepted in those cultures to teach the boy to be abusive. And that's where we have to stop. Does he know any better? Does the father know any better? That's all he learned. But if we can get the word out, and we can, you know, do podcasts like this and bring it to light, we could say, no, that is unacceptable. Let's find a better way to deal with this. Let's find a better way to communicate. And that's one of the other things that I teach is communication, because communication is not just speaking. We have to listen. We have to listen. We listen with our ears. We listen with our eyes. Look at that person. Have a conversation, a true, real conversation like you and I are having. Okay? Watch the body language. But this, one lip, 2 ears, 2 eyes, we all know the saying. You know, have a community. And if you can't, and you say the words, I need to step back for 15 minutes, I'll be right back, then that person has to understand, stop. Okay, we both go to our corners, take the 10, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. Okay, honey, you know what? You're right. We'll meet back here in 15 minutes. Respect those. That's a boundary. Respect it. And say, okay, now we're back here. What do we do? How do we fix this? If you can't fix it yourself as a couple, find help. We're out here. All the coaches are out here. I can't tell you how many coaches I know personally, not only ones that I work with, okay, even a coach as a coach, but that I'm part of, that they want. Coaches are so heart-centered. We just want to heal the world. We want to see everybody happy. And we spread that love that I felt from Archangel Michael. I just want to spread that love. I want people to know that you are loved. Everybody's loved. No matter what religion you believe in, no matter where you come from culturally, just be kind. Understand, maybe take it, a step back and just listen with your ears and your eyes.
Right. Yeah, great. I mean, this is the thing. It's and that little word compassion too, because I don't know about you, but I do feel that, I don't know, with what's gone on over the last few years, there does seem to be, because I suppose that the amount of stress, that a lot of people do seem extra anxious. I don't know, is that a word? But it's just like, it's where has the patience gone? Where has the tolerance gone? Where has that compassion gone? And I don't know whether it's because everybody was sort of trapped, depending on where you were in the world, how long you were trapped for, right? Everybody had a slightly different experience, but it's like, because I suppose everything is online, is some of the things even I had to step away from a lot, because you think that the abuse that can happen with people's commenting on people's posts, you think, wow, what's happened to that Be Kind movement that was, picking up momentum not so long ago? Like, people have forgotten it that quickly. Like, please, people. We can all have different opinions, but we can still, and that's okay. It's not everybody is going to think like me.
Exactly. And I'm the same way. That my political affiliation may be one way, and my partners may be another. But that's okay.
And it's okay. That's allowed.
We're allowed to, exactly.
Yeah, crazy. And I can imagine that would have even those things can't have helped people in situations like that, or they just wouldn't have a voice because they'd be too scared to voice an opinion that may be different. And I suppose it just works in tough all over the place.
Tolerance. We need to bring that back again. Not only be kind, but within that tolerance, understand what that other person may be going through, because we don't know. I don't know what personal issues you may be going through. You don't know what kind of personal issues I may be going through. But what's going to happen is they are going to manifest. They're going to come out. Okay. If I'm not having a good day, and by the way, I am single, but if my partner got up and stubbed his toe and hit the bedpost, he's going to be kind of I'm like, okay, I didn't hit my toe, but I can empathize with you. I understand how painful that is. It's the same thing with any stress. Okay, I didn't cause the stress. So what do you need to de-stress? Do you need your 15 minutes? Go outside, grab a drink. Do you need some tea? Can I run you a bath? Whatever it is, whatever your partner needs, but that tolerance and that acceptance that we're all different, but we're not. Okay.
Yeah.
And to say, okay, you're going through something. I'm here to listen, or you can take 10, 15 minutes. We just need to, as humans, even people that we pass on the street, if we see somebody, that was one of the biggest things that I've always done, no matter who I saw. When we see the effects of it, smile, give a compliment. It makes you feel good. It makes them feel good. Even if it's beautiful barrette today, nice tie today. They're not expecting that, but it's going to shift their thinking. It's going to shift their mindset.
Absolutely. Well, and so one perception here, it's funny that you mentioned that. So I would say, from my perception, our belief over here in the UK is that you guys already do that, right? Americans can be very complimentary. And I would say, as a culturally, not everyone, right? Okay, I'm not brandishing everyone with the same brush, but I would say our way can be quite, we're not very good at giving compliments. I would say the Brits aren't particularly good at giving compliments, or the flip side, taking compliments. We can, our humor, on our sort of country's humor is actually quite sarcastic, which is negative. And but for somehow we just, so I think it's even more important for the Brits to do that a little bit more, because the what I perceive, and look, I've never even been to the States, so this is a complete judgment from an outsider looking in, is that the Americans are actually really good at complimenting each other. And it can be even down to a lot of our different sort of funny little quirks can go back to like our histories and sort of maybe hereditary states, because you guys are a little bit more gung-ho than us, and or is that a perception that is wrong from your eyes over there in Tennessee?
Well, it depends on where in the US you're going. I love that. I love that, Karen. Thank you. That is, all I can say is try. That's all we can do as humans. That's all we can do. Try and get just one day at a time. I know it sounds cliche. I know that is so AA and NA and everything else, but really, that's all we have is today.
It is.
So let's make the best of it. Why do you want to go through today all, and down and stressed? And, what if it really were your last day? If you, got home at 6, 7 o'clock tonight from work, and all of a sudden you laid down on bed and you're looking up at the ceiling and you realize however it comes to you, if you're looking at that ceiling and you're going, oh shit, today's my life. I'm going to die tonight. Did I live the life I really wanted to live? What am I leaving my family, my kids? Was that job really necessary? If you have to look at life like that and look up at the ceiling and go, at the end of today, look at the ceiling and say, is this the life that I want? Right. Is this really what I want to leave behind? Is this where I want to be remembered, to be known for, or do I want to make a change? Because every single morning when we get up, we have that opportunity to make a change, to make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all we have. And I do feel that maybe, again, because it really has changed things, I think, the last few years, or changed a lot of people's sort of views on the world. But, where we thought maybe before, number one, that we had any kind of control over, and we've realized now that was a myth. We don't actually have any control.
Nope.
And that, there is only now. We do only have now. You're either living in the past or wasting even more energy worrying about the future. This is all we have right now. We don't know what's going to come tomorrow. I mean, if we haven't learned anything in the last 3 years, man, surely we've learned that message. So that is where our power is, in the now. That's all there ever has been. That's all there ever will be. But this sort of, I don't know, matrix that we're living in, if you like, with this whole sort of perception that, we do. So many of us are living in the past. We're going over past conversations that we had, or, and I can imagine if people are in that kind of situation, again, right, I should have said this, or I should have done this, or again, draining all your energy into that past, or stressing about what's going to happen when they come home. And again, rather when, if people really understood the power of this moment and what they can do in the now that will change things further down the line. I mean, that's got to be the message, isn't it?
Yes, and you just hit it. Okay, there are two aspects to that. One is the knowledge that we know that either something's wrong, something's right, we can change it, we can fix it. But the second part of that is the do, the action. We know it, now let's take action. Just because we know it doesn't mean it fixed it completely.
No,
so let's take, yes. So let's take it. There's that tiny little step, okay? Take that tiny little step and make a plan and follow through on it to say, okay, tomorrow morning, I'm going to get up. Even if I stub my toe, I'm going to sing to the, my higher power. Okay. I'm not going to let that bother me. One tiny step at a time. It's how we build a puzzle. It's how we put a puzzle together, right? It's how we build a bridge, how we build big buildings was one brick at a time. One step at a time.
And it takes practice, yeah? It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and try these things and have your life change.
No.
If only, huh?
Right. If that were the case, I'd been here, let's see, back in 2018. I had to take those baby steps to get here and where I am today. Everything was destined for everything that I had gone through for me to be here at this moment. Everything that I did on Facebook to connect with you, everything even before that to put more effort into my Facebook, to realize my path even before, everything was a tiny step to get me here today. For you and I to have this awesome conversation.
Well, it's lovely to meet you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You too.
So with regards to, for the listeners, so this will be going out, some will be watching, some will be just listening. So for those especially who are only listening right now, how would they get in touch with you if they need your help?
Book a call, DM me on Facebook. It's facebook.com, the SASSI Coach. You cannot miss me. I am all over the place, and that's SASSI, Christine Malik. You can find me that way. Book the free call. Just get me on the phone. DM me, private message me, however you need it, and I'll take it from there. I will take you by the hand, and we'll walk together through the path and see where it goes. Because isn't that exciting to see where this could possibly go?
Absolutely.
My phone number is listed. My address is listed. But
you will be able to find her. You will be able.
Absolutely. If anybody knocks on my door, they're going to be greeted by a big red-boned coonhound, but that's okay. He's just loud. But whatever.
Awesome. So it really doesn't matter where you are in the world. This is the beauty of this. Is and I suppose for even some people that are going through that, like you said about, if they don't want to reach out to friends, because some people and this will definitely relate to, I would have said more maybe the men more than the women that could be going through abuse, is because they don't want to admit to their friends that something's going on because they may have feelings of shame. So
trust me, their friends know. But the friends know. They see the change, okay? Because it's slight changes little by little, okay? You get a little bit more withdrawn and inside, little by little. That man that's being abused gets more and more inside. Those friends see the change. They just don't know how to address it. But yes, to that man, if you can't go to your friends and you don't feel comfortable with that, I also coach men. That's not a problem. They make up a third of my clients. Absolutely.
So, and it might feel easier for them to go to a straightener. Somebody, there you go, not even in the same country, because sometimes that it is, isn't it? It's like sometimes that is a safer bet than rather to admit to people that they are close with, because I suppose, again, probably due to social media, it's all sunshine and roses, isn't it? Everybody looks at thinking they're the perfect couple and they're having an amazing life, and it ain't necessarily so.
What happens behind?
To admit.
Yep. What happens behind those closed doors? Only those two people know.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're feeling like that and you don't feel like you have anyone to reach out to, then look, come and find Christina, come and have, sorry, Christine,
Yes.
apologies there,
No,
and have a conversation. And I do think this is, it is a massive problem, and you've actually shocked me to say that it's worse in the UK. Stats are incredible, and they are scary stats, and something really needs to be done, and it's happening in all areas, all different cultures, all places. Nobody escapes this. People that you may think, again, on paper or on Facebook, they've got the perfect life, and you don't know. You really don't know what's going on behind closed doors. But there is help. There is hope. Yes. And things can change, and when they do change, they can change incredibly fast. But I think that advice of preparing an escape hatch is massive, absolutely massive, because maybe on the face of it, because some people, if they haven't gone through it, as I used to think, well, why don't you just leave? Like, what are you doing? Well, oh, man, there's so many moving parts in there. That's okay for somebody if they've never gone through it, but that whole emotional, psychological, that drip feed of having your energy sucked from you day by day means that, well, you're not in the same position that somebody else is, right? It's just so easy for people to judge.
Yes, and let's remember that in my case, and I know for a lot of women, I love him. Yes, but I love him. I can't tell you how many times I hear that. I'm like, girlfriend, you'll get over that. Trust me. Yeah. That this is not love. What you're going. That's not love. It's not. No. So yeah, we think that we want to help and we want to save, and that we're nurturers as women in general, and as a society, and throughout the ages, we've been nurturers. We're the one that bear the children. We feed our children. We think we can do this with him as well. So we stay a little longer than we think. We tolerate a lot more than we should. But we have to get to a point where we say, enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Yeah. And there you go. There is so much more that they can do when they're outside of that, and being fed the right kind of emotional support, because it's gonna go a long way, and having some kind of support mechanism, some support. Again, you're not alone. That's to the men and the women. You're not alone. There are people out there that are willing to help and to support on just an emotional level and in other ways. So get in touch. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you. So this is really what we're all about, and this is why that we have created this Raising Vibrations Network, is because that, over the last 18 months, I have interviewed people like yourself, doing amazing things out there. But, coach. So if I was just to, read, SASSI Coach, what is that? I would not have had any idea of exactly what it is that you do, who specifically you help, what specific problem that you solve, because it just doesn't say enough, right? Which means, how on earth do the public come and find?
I'm working on that, honey. Absolutely. Like I said, Facebook. I have to. There's a really long story behind how SASSI came about. It actually started back when my daughter was in Girl Scouts, and she is now 31 years old. So that was a very long time ago. And that's my brand. I mean, I hate to say it, but because that is what I teach women. No, let me correct that. Because I don't teach it. Okay. What I do is I help them find it. Every woman has SASSI. Every woman has it. It's strong, assertive, smart, sexy, and independent. Now you try and reach all 5 of those letters being all caps. Okay. But if you take a capital S and maybe a small a and maybe a small s, but then the capital S, okay, because, today I'm feeling sexy and today I'm feeling pretty independent, but I'm not so sure I'm feeling or assertive. Okay. So there's stages of sassy. And when clients come aboard, they're like, okay. And then I ask them, do you know what stage of sassy you're at? Do you know where you're at? Do you know what sassy stands for? We go through and we find that. And we, like I said, we try and reach full, all cap, and trust me, I'm not even there every day. Okay.
Well, we're all, again, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. We're all going to have our off days. I throughout the day can be up and down and up and down. It's called life, right? We can react to certain things. We can be triggered by certain things. There's so many moving parts. If everybody thinks that everybody's going to have all their ducks in the row at every minute of the day, well, I just don't believe it.
Well, and as long as we stop being reactive, let's be proactive in our lives. Okay. Don't react. That's so easy to just, and that comes from the ego side. That comes from, the negative emotion side, the fears,
of course,
stop, take that moment, take a deep breath and go, okay, I'm not going to react to this. Let me be proactive about this. I can't tell you how many conversations that I've had with online dating. Okay. And then I would have to listen, what you just said is gaslighting, and that's unacceptable. So let me offer you how we can change that vernacular. Let's change the wording. And they're going, okay, what? Who are you, woman? Who are you? Right. But yeah, just take that moment to be proactive, not react.
And that's where our power lies, is when we don't react.
Yes.
In a way maybe people are expecting, and when we can stay in that space where things can just go over our heads and we're not triggered. But it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. And it's all a case of practicing these things. It all takes practice. Like you said, baby steps every single day. Best time, first in the morning, last thing at night. And then maybe, at the end of the day, we do have these wonderful machines, right? That we could even, set little timers to make us, once we're aware of, right, where am I right now? How am I feeling? And asking yourself a question. You could set that in your phone because it does take time, because we can, we might be feeling wonderful when we're really focusing on that, and then go about your day. And because we have resorted back into our autopilot mode, so sometimes we might need a trigger to remind ourselves, oh, yeah, where am I at right now? How am I feeling? Why am I feeling like this? And it will all be just step by step. Slowly, right?
That's funny that you say that, because that is one of the things that I do. I try and actually reach out to every single one of my clients or my prospective clients. It doesn't matter, because they're all family as far as I'm concerned. Send a little, throughout the week, just send a quick little quote, something that I think they need. Okay. Just something that's uplifting and positive and motivational that keeps their vibration high, because if we can keep our vibrations high, then we don't go down to the lows really low. Okay. And I've been, like I said, I've attempted suicide. I can't even tell you, probably a half a dozen times throughout my life. Okay. And I'm 57 years old. Okay.
Wow.
But if we can keep our vibration high and positive, that low really isn't that bad, and we can get out of it a lot quicker. So that is something that I do, is just a little,
awesome.
Even if it's just a text. Hey, how's it going today?
It can be just something to just bring you into the present moment and be aware. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today. Wonderful to have you on board, and to anybody out there, get in touch, and to the rest of you, well, I will be back next week with a Coffee with Karen. Bye for now.
Welcome to the Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.